Okay, let's get the show on the road. Welcome to today's presentation. Are you maximizing your ERP investment? We are so glad you can join us today. My name is Nancy Quello, and I am in the marketing department at Marcum Tech, and I will be your host for today's session. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping items to cover. Marcum LLP, Vivian, would you be able to move to the next slide? Marcum LLP and Marcum Technology LLC have prepared these materials as part of an educational program. The information contained herein is of a general nature and is not intended to address the circumstances of any particular individual, entity, or case. While every effort has been made to offer current and accurate information, errors can occur. Furthermore, laws and regulations referred to in this program may change over time and should be interpreted only in the light of particular circumstances. The information presented here should not be construed as a legal, tax, accounting, or valuation advice. No one should act on such information without appropriate professional advice after a thorough examination of the particular situation. Next slide, please. Now, logistics. During today's program, you can submit questions to our presenters using the Q&A feature at the bottom of the Zoom platform. They will get to as many questions as they can at the end of the webinar. We will email a copy of the slides and the link to the recordings to all attendees post-event. If you would like to receive continuing professional education credits for CPAs for attending today's session, you will need to be active in the platform for a minimum of 50 minutes and answer 3 polling questions that will appear on the screen at random points during the presentation. Each poll will be active for 1 minute. Please be sure to select an answer and submit your responses for tracking purposes. Now, I will pass it to Bulin Tran, Vice President of Financial Solutions at Marcum Tech. Bulin.
Thank you so much, Nancy, and welcome everyone to today's webinar. This should be a really good presentation. We have a lot of materials to cover. My name is Bulin Tran. I'm a VP in our Financial Solutions practice here at Marcum Tech. I have over 25 years of experience working with various ERP solutions and FP&A as well. Most of my career has been working with clients that are in the not-for-profit industry. That's a quick intro for me. Vivian, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi, my name is Vivian Perot, and I'm currently working with the Financial Solutions team as a consultant. I've been with Marcum for about 5 years now. Prior to Marcum, I've been in public accounting, for-profit, nonprofit, and focusing on ERPs, on assessments, streamlining businesses by implementing IT solutions.
Great, next slide, please. So today's learning objectives, they include review the strategies to maximize your ERP, review the investment benefits with ERP solutions, review common problems ERP projects face. So our agenda for today, we have just a quick, I think, 2 slides on who we are as Marcum Technology. We're going to go right into the intro of our discussion for today. We'll talk about what are ERP solutions, what does that mean, what are some of the benefits, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the how to maximize your ERP investment strategy. What are some of the key things you might want to do or think about to maximize your ERP solutions? We'll talk about optimizing ERP to achieve business growth, and then talk a little bit about the ROI with your ERP solutions, and we'll wrap it up with Q&A. Next slide, please. So who are we? Marcum Tech is the technology arm of Marcum LLP, which is a CPA firm. Marcum Technology helps our clients effectively converge business and technology through the delivery of strategic consulting, enterprise financial solutions, cybersecurity, infrastructure, and automation. We are accelerating our clients' digital transformation and delivering to our customers a more personalized and seamless experience. As a firm, as you can see, we support a number of industries for our clients. Next slide, please. So within Marcum Technology, we have 5 pillars of services. I'll just go through this very quickly. So we'll start with digital consulting. So digital consultants include a number of services here, one of which is the financial ERP solutions. And that's the practice that I, myself, and Vivian, are part of. And so other areas in here includes FP&A, we've got robotics, but within the financial ERP solutions, we support our clients on 4 ERP solutions, 2 of which are cloud-based solutions. So we'll talk a little bit about what cloud-based solutions mean in a next few slides. But the 2 cloud-based solutions we support are Sage Intacct and Acumatica. We support 2 Dynamics legacy solutions. They are Dynamics GP, which is Great Plains, and Dynamics SL for Solomon. And then on the FP&A, we support and implement. So all these solutions we support and implement, Vena and Planful. With strategic consulting, which is the next pillar there, we provide assessments of the back office accounting and IT operations. Then we have the cloud and infrastructure solutions. We provide private cloud services, infrastructure support, and disaster recovery. Then we've got the managed IT services where some of our clients might outsource their managed IT services to us. A lot of clients that, especially smaller size clients, they want to focus on the mission of the organizations and outsource the back office support. And then finally, we have cybersecurity, where we help our clients secure their business. Next slide, please. So Vivian, you want to take...
So yeah, we're going to jump right into what is an ERP, right? So an ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. ERP generally includes the core business functions such as finance, inventory management, manufacturing, sales, project management, and all these in a single unified platform that provides centralized access, right? So while you see there are a number of functions in this wheel here, not all ERPs have all these modules, right? So for example, Sage Intacct, it doesn't include the CRM function. Some of these ERPs are focused on best in class, where they focus on specific areas. These systems leverage the third-party solutions to complete the system functionality and to meet the needs of the client. Simply having an ERP system in place does not guarantee business growth, right? To fully leverage the benefits of an ERP system, you want to optimize the ERP solution to achieve business growth. And that's what we're going to discuss in this webinar, in the slides that are coming up. Optimization means leveraging the functionality of the system to streamline and enhance your accounting or reporting operations.
Right.
So here in this slide, we have the characteristics of modern ERP. So the modern ERP solution has a couple of what we consider characteristics or features. They include cloud-based, right? That's important now, right? As more systems are becoming cloud-based, meaning you're accessing the system via a browser. There's generally multi-authentication factors. The data is stored off-site at a server, and the software is upgraded on an interim basis. Everyone is running on the same platform, but different configuration, right? So ages ago, where everything was on a desktop and everyone had to be on the desktop in order. Now it's cloud-based. Everything is just really moving to cloud-based. Automated financial reporting and analytics solutions should allow you to easily create financial reports and perform analysis. Mobile friendly now. Many of these solutions are allowing you to approve transactions from mobile devices. Automation. Not only are there automation like approval workflows, but also AI and machine learning capabilities. Systems should be able to look at the data and identify anomalies. Organization-wide access. There are self-service capabilities available, such as dashboards. And again, back to the cloud-based, just giving organization-wide access, highlighting mobile accessibility now. And these are the characteristics of modern ERPs.
Hey, Vivian, other thing that I just wanted to mention with the previous slide is with with modern ERP, the cost structures are also different. So, what we see with cloud-based solution is that, you don't have the hardware, that was, with the legacy system. IT supports are different. IT really don't have a server they need to support. This is all in the cloud. And then you're on a subscription basis instead of the traditional where you buy the software and you pay in maintenance. So you're really not, you don't have ownership of the software in the sense you're not buying it. What you're essentially doing is you're renting it. So you're kind of paying through time. So, some of the things that, I usually tell clients or, organizations is that when it's a cloud-based solution, it's on a SaaS, from a pricing perspective, a SaaS solution. So you want to be careful of when you're buying license. So you only want to buy it when you need it. You don't want to buy it too much in advance because you're paying for it and you're not really using it. So this is really wrapped into sort of as part of the modern ERP solutions is what we're seeing.
Yeah, thanks for that, Bulin. Some good points about the cost here. So again, what are the benefits of an ERP, right? Why would we want to move to an ERP? Why would you need to upgrade an ERP? And what are the benefits here? So the main benefit, or at least one of the main ones, are reporting, right? One integrated database for all business departments means you can run reports for different departments and processes. Without an ERP, data tends to be often spread across various applications and spreadsheets. Files are being emailed around, or you have to ask another department to run a report for you. There's more communication, more gaps. And so now you have, with an ERP, you have all your data in one centralized location. Right? There's the ability to customize reporting across all business functions, inventory, procurement, sales, finance, all your business functions, real-time data, right? Now we're talking about insights into critical business processes, right? Into business aspects. Now you could run real-time, and it's so important now in this fast-paced environment. Scalability. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Scalability, right? So now we're talking about the ability to keep pace with your business trajectory. You can use the functionality you need now and leave room for exponential increases and transactional value and workload and the amount of data, right? So again, if your ERP, make sure the ERP has room for growth, right? You could turn on the functions that you need now and make sure that it has the functionality for what you think you may need in the future, right? Keeping up with the trajectory of your business. Security. Data is stored in a common database rather than spread across multiple systems with varying levels of security. Again, spreadsheets are not flying back and forth, not emailing back and forth. It's one central location, easier to keep security up to date. Most ERP systems like Intact have users and roles. Permissions are down to the user or down to the role. They're easy to control, so you could limit who views and who has access to your data. Increase productivity. ERPs can automate repetitive tasks, freeing up staff time to work on projects that add value to the organization instead of spending time on repetitive tasks. Employees have visibility to the other business areas. They don't have to ask around for specific sets of data, log into various softwares or programs, and everything is in one central location.
The other comment I was going to make to this is also with the modern ERP solutions is that they tend to be more user-friendly. So if you look at whether you're looking at NetSuite or you're looking at Sage Intacct, they tend to be more user-friendly than the legacy systems like GP. Those systems are harder to use. The note that I wanted to make here on the third bullet where we're talking about data, breaking down the data silos is that data. So we have clients that want to see data, their own data, not be able to see other departments' data, right? So the data are together, but you have the option of what data you want to see, right? So there are organizations that are a little bit more sensitive with who gets to see what data. So these ERP solutions allowed you to assign, many of them allow you to assign through security who has access to what data. So next slide, please. So we come to, go ahead.
We're at the polling question now. And polling question, you should see it on your screen now. What ERP solutions are you using today? And we'll give you a minute to answer that. We'll keep it up while we continue.
While we're waiting, yeah, thank you. So, so maximizing your ERP investment strategy, we put together a couple of what we see are major areas to, major areas of tasks that you might want to think about in terms of maximizing your ERP investment, and they include understanding your organization's need, and then finding an ERP strategic partner to help you with this, with this type of project, creating an ERP strategy, meaning, how do you identify the solution? Is the solution within your ERP system, or is this a solution that might include third-party solutions? Managing change isn't very important. And no matter what changes you're making, whether it is a technology enhancement or whether it's just a process change, managing that change is really critical. And then continue support.
Now, Bulin, we finished the first polling question, and I'm going to go ahead and share the results.
Right. Wow, this is really interesting. So we have a really dynamic list of different systems here. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are not running any of the systems that are above. And I noticed no one is running on Acumatica, just in case if people are wondering what is Acumatica. It is an ERP solution. It's cloud-based. The Acumatica really plays in the heavy distribution, manufacturing, construction industry. But that's great to see. Thank you.
Hey, and just curious to those that put down other, if you guys could just let us know in there what is that system that you're running, just out of curiosity, so we could take a look at later.
So next slide, please. So maximizing your ERP strategy, one of the items here is, the first item here is assess your company's need. So you have to have a starting point if you're going to, if you want to maximize the system, right? You have to have a starting point. That starting point is really understanding what your needs are. And, to begin that process, you want to identify what are your pain points. And you want to document these pain points, what they are. If possible, even document the impact these pain points have within your organization, meaning what are some of the risks these pain point has, in terms of impacting the accuracy of your data, in terms of not just how long it's taking you to do these tasks, but what are some of the risks associated with that. And the second bullet here is really what are some of the key internal accounting processes, meaning, what are the pain points and how are they as part of your, how are these pain points part of your process? What are they? What are some of the key processes that is important to you, and what issues you're having with those processes? How long do these tests, as I mentioned about the pain point, not just understand the risk, but how long these issues, challenges that you're having, how much time are they taking you to complete, right? And then also, as part of this exercise, is really understanding what are the success criteria. What are we trying to achieve? What is considered success? Meaning, how do you want to automate? How much time do we want it to reduce, and that sort of stuff. So we want to have some level of success criteria. So therefore, you can go back to say, okay, we did this. Was it a success or not? Meeting our needs. also identify who's responsible for spearheading this project. So like anything else, you have, this is not the only thing you're doing. This is a project for, most folks. And, you want to make sure that you have the proper person that's going to spearhead, who has the resource, who can dedicate that resource to this project. And then once you have that list, you want to make sure you prioritize the list, because that list, you might have 3, you might have 30, it all depends, right? But whatever it is, if you have a list going, you should prioritize and, identify what is the bigger fish you want to fry, basically, and which challenge will give you the most benefit. So you wanted to identify that, because resources are limited. So you want to make sure you tackle the one that is most important for you. And is replacing the current accounting solution in the mix, meaning that if you're running an accounting system today and you've been using it for very long time, 10, 15, 20 years, you might have outgrown that solution, and that, that if that's the case, then, looking for a new system may be in the mix for you. So we're coming across to polling question number 2. Are you maximizing the use of your current ERP solution? I just wanted to poll the audience just to see, how do you feel about your ERP solutions, and do you feel like you've maximized your use? So some of the options are somewhat. We're using the system. We don't think we're maximizing the use of it. So somewhat, fully maximizing the solution. So we think that we've used all the functionality that's there. We're pretty efficient in what we're doing. Not at all. So there's definitely gaps there. We should be doing more with our system. And then the last option is not sure. We're really not sure. We don't know what we've got. We're really not sure if we're really maximizing the use of our system. So if you can just take a minute to answer. Meanwhile, we're going to move forward with some examples here. And these are actually real examples. We have tons of examples, but I actually took 2 examples that came up in the last 2 weeks and just thought, we share with you. So we have a company that sells beverage with multiple locations. They use Dynamics GP for their ERP. The challenge is that the accountant enters AP invoices through their bank to process vendor payments, and then enters the same information in their ERP solution to record the invoice and associated payments, because they process the payment through their bank. This took about a day of a full-time person to enter the same information in the ERP, in the ERP system. The accountant also manually sends out emails to notify the vendors that payment has been made. These are real examples, by the way. We did not make this up. The recommendations we spoke to this organization is that GP provides ACH and email remittance capability. As part of our review, we recommend that they leverage the ACH and email remittance functionality of the system. It is an out-of-the-box capability of GP. That means that they don't have to pay for this functionality. They have it today. There's no additional cost to get. So really, it's just about turning it on, talking about implementing the solution. So this is an example where they had it, they just, wasn't really thinking too much about what they had, but knew that they had this challenge. And so they reached out to us and to talk about, how we can help them to streamline this process. And, a lot of nonprofit organizations, there's just so much going on, right? So you're not really have the time to really step back and really think about, what are we doing? How can we make our process more efficient? How do we better leverage the technology that we have? Next slide, please.
So now we come up on a point, the second point that Bulin talked about is finding an ERP strategy partner, right? How do you evaluate these ERP vendors? So some questions you want to ask, what are the level of experience, right? And is that experience in your particular industry? Have you worked with this partner before? So are they an audit partner? Have you worked with different areas of this vendor and their different areas of business? Are you familiar with that? What is their implementation timeline? You want to see a project plan, some type of timeline where they'll show you the different milestones. What's the implementation methodology, right? We're saying with the methodology, do they include training? What's the training during, before going live? What's the post-live training? What's the support that is offered, right? You want to ask for client references. Ask the vendor to connect you with one of their established clients, so that you could see the system, what they're using and what their experience has been like. Again, when you also want to ask about the training, ask that client for references about their system, but also about the training. You want to know, how has their support been going? How quickly is their support being answered, their questions being answered? What does collaboration look like? What does their support team look like? So while asking for references for other clients, you can also get a lot of information about this vendor.
That was motion censored. The light.
Good, it's not a fire that's turning off your lights over there. Again, you just want to ask questions about the vendor, right? Does the vendor have the experience to customize and add applications that meet your organizational needs, right? In case the ERP doesn't do all of the functions that you need, you just want to go with a partner that you feel is comfortable with your industry, with your business, and they could add to your business.
Yeah, and when you're looking at your system and you're looking at your operations, as I mentioned, there's so much going on. You have, a day-to-day jobs, and engaging with a partner, whoever that may be, to help you in this process is I think super important, super helpful, because it's also sometimes that when you're in your operation, sometimes you don't see the trees from the forest as well. That's one area, but also what the partner should be able to advise you is the partner knows your operations, or knows the industry, and the partner should also know your system. So I think, could you do it by yourself and not engage with a partner? I would say yes, but the effort, I think there would be a lot more effort involved, and then so that's why we think that engaging with a partner is important. So this takes us to the next item here, which is creating the ERP strategy. So I think the point here is we always recommend looking at what you've got first. So let's say you have a challenge, we look at what you currently have first. And making sure that, you've dot the I's and cross the T's in terms of what your current solution provides you first, okay? Before you look at third-party solutions, right? And that's assuming that this is the platform for you, and this is the right system for you. You just don't have that functionality that you need to streamline your operations. And this is where you look at the third party generally. And sometimes I will also say that third-party product tend to have a lot more functionality to it. So let me just give you an example. When you talk about AP automations, a lot of the ERP solutions have AP automations, meaning they have an ability to help you route your invoices for approval. There is different type of approval. There is invoice approval, meaning should I pay this bill, yes or no? Right. And then there is also payment approval with that, meaning should I go ahead and pay it now? The invoice has been approved, should I pay? So there are these type of functionality within your ERP. The question is that enough? Meaning what are your requirements, and is your out of the box functionality enough? And if it's not enough, this is where you would go to a third-party solution. But I always recommend that we start with what you currently have. The solution that I tend to diverge from is creating a custom creating a custom app, meaning I want the system to be able to do this, and I'm going to build it. So the challenge with building it yourself, right, is that there's a ton of support that comes with that, and it's a custom support too. So not only is it tend to be costly, but you have tons of there's higher risk because you're the only one using it. And so I tend to stay away. Now, there is a difference between customization and integration, meaning you're leveraging, I have a client that uses Salesforce for some of their workflow, and they're on Sage Intacct. They leverage the integration of the system to integrate. So integration, I think, is less risky than building something custom to address your need. Next slide, please. So we come across another example here. Again, this is a recent example that we came across, and we thought it would be good to share. A nonprofit organization that transitioned to Sage Intacct about a year ago. They have subscribed to Sage Intacct Budgeting and Planning module. It stands for SIBP. The SIBP is a budget management solution. It's meant to help organizations manage the budget process. So it's not about taking Excel and loading the budget into your ERP. This is a budget management process, which means it's a solution that allows many people, as many budget preparers are there, to go into this platform. They put in their budget. There's workflow that is part of it. You can route it to approvers and so forth, right? The issue is, or the challenge is, that their budget templates are rather complex. Today, they have over 50 Excel tabs to manage their budget process. So I don't know how many budget preparers there are, but it's a huge Excel file. While they did subscribe to the budget and planning modules, they have not been able to implement the solutions with Sage or their partners. Okay, whatever solution this might be, this happens to be Sage, but they weren't able to implement it. The current budget management process they use today is Excel. So they got it, couldn't implement it, they're still in Excel. So, and they engage with us, and our recommendation was that we recommended that we review their requirements first. Understand sort of where we need to get to, right? What does the end result look at? How do you budget? How do you forecast, right? How do you do the OpEx planning, the personnel planning? So we really need to understand those requirements, understand the deliverable of the process, understand the reporting requirements, and then evaluate a couple of solutions. So we're kind of, in a way, going backward to in this process to make sure that we identify a solution that will meet the need. Now that solution may be SIBP, but I think we felt that due diligence needs to be done, and if they're going to do the due diligence, not only should we look at the SIBP, which is what they currently have, but we should also look at another solution. We should look at the SIBP first. If it doesn't meet their needs, obviously we'll look at another solution. But the good thing about these SaaS solution is that you're not buying it, you're kind of renting it, and most of these solutions, the subscription tend to be on an annual basis. So if you bought, if you subscribe to it, they weren't using it, they don't have to pay for it every year. They can unsubscribe it, do the due diligence, which is what we recommended. Do the due diligence, and then they'll be able to see, how the solution fits in. And also, when you're doing this due diligence, you might want to, we can also recommend how they might do things slightly different. Still maybe end up with the same result, but the approach may be different, right?
So this brings us to change management, right, which we already touched on earlier in one of the earlier slides, change management and employee training, right? So when you work with an ERP expert, they can help you identify the parameters and help you address with change management, right? We're looking at two different aspects of change management here, right? One is technical. This includes all the work and effort, design, develop, and deliver a solution that meets the opportunity or issue being addressed, right? Two, most important, is people, right? So this includes the effort to ensure that people who must do their work differently because of the technical side solution will in fact engage, adopt, and use it, right? So when we're looking at what's the reason for change, right? What's the current state, the transition state, the future state, in a combination of addressing the technical side and the people side will lead to success, right? You want to make sure that during change management that you get a core, what I found that's successful is getting a core group of people that have buy-in, right? Core group of people that believe in this, believe in the change and can adopt it. Then once you have that core group of people, they tend to spread to the others, right? You want to have this core group of people that believe in this, that engage, adopt, use it, and then that'll spread to the others. You want to add more to that?
I think the next slide is my slide. Yeah. So just to add to what Vivian was just talk about is that there's a difference. We think there's a difference between management support and approval. And we take change management very seriously. I think this is a really important area that sometimes in implementations, even small implementations like these, looking at your operations, turning on your certain functionality within your ERP solutions that you're currently not using and rolling that out and managing that change. So it doesn't have to be putting in a new ERP. This is any implementation that you'll be doing. And I think that a lot of times change management just doesn't, there's not enough attention to be on this. And when we talk about the difference between management support and versus approval, there is a difference, meaning if you have, the president, executive director approving this project, right? That's their approval. But equally important is to get their support. And when we talk about support, we talk about it in a couple of different things. When we talk about support, it's the executive directors or the president in leadership meetings, right? Talking about how great this project is. This project will, is a game changer for the organization. So when you've got the management support, it becomes not a finance project, but an organization-wide project, right? And so when it's an organization-wide project, it's very visible, and you're getting the leadership to support the project for success. So the support, having the management support, I think is just as important as just getting the approval in. The next item here I have is, get participation and know your people. We always say that implementing a solution within a department is always easier because there's less change than rolling a solution that is across department, meaning organization-wide. So the more people involved, the more there's more challenge, right? So just an example, if you were to implement journal entry approval, well, journal entry approval is generally just within the accounting department. You've got maybe two senior people that enters their journal entry. You've got the controller or the CFO reviewing that entry. It's just 3 people. It's less complicated from a change management than where if you were to implement a budget solution for 30 department heads, or 30 department budget preparers, right? Because then it's outside of your department and you have to collaborate with getting everyone involved. And with a solution like budget, a budget solution, it will only be successful if everyone participate, right? You can't have half the people still doing the old thing, which is Excel, and then half the people adopt to the new process, which is this budget system, right? And so I think the point here with the getting the participation is that you want to know if you are going to implement a system that goes beyond your own department, and you're getting participations from other departments. Let's just say it's a budget solution. You wanted to, if possible, you want to see who are going to be supporting your, this project, and versus who may not. Meaning that there might be people that are, may not be, for them it may be a more challenge to change, right? They don't want to adopt change. So what you want to do in that situation is that you want to get the participation. So if you feel like they're gonna have they're gonna push and not adopt to the new system, get them involved from the very beginning. Get them involved so that they feel like they are part of your solution. They were part of the selection process, right? We're not suggesting that you have 30 people making decisions here, right? Because that would be difficult to have 30 people evaluate a solution, but you may want to select a few people, or you might want to get them involved and get their feedback. So there's different ways that you want to get them involved, but when you get them involved, they feel like they're part of the solution. And this kind of goes in hand with, the saying that you want to keep your friends close and you want to keep your enemies closer, right? Not to say they're your enemies, but you want to get them closer to you in this project, right? So they feel like they took part in this solution. So that's what that the second bullet. And then the third bullet, in terms of early adopter and training. So once you've selected, you implemented it, you want, if you have a large group of people that you're training, identify who are your who are going to be supporting you. You've got maybe a couple of people that are super excited about this new system that they're going to be using. Get those people involved in training first, because what's going to happen is that they're going to tell everybody how great the system is. It's a game changer for the organization. We can do our budget so much faster than what we were doing before. It is so streamlined. And you know what? Forecast is just a press of a button and it happens. So you want to get those people in first so they can spread the word. And you want to make the training as simple as possible, meaning depending on the number of people that you're going to be training, you might have to have a morning session, an afternoon session across multiple days. So there are really no excuse for people to miss any training, right? Because it's offered it's offered multiple times. And lastly, just want to mention the support piece is super important. You want to make sure that the people know who they need to go to for support. And when we talk about support, we're not just talking about the initial training support. We're also talking about ongoing support. What happens when you have new people coming in, right? Because that happens, right? People come and they leave, right? So what happens? How is your support structure in place so that when new people come in, they are well trained, suited, and ready to go and use and use the new system that you implemented. And one last point in terms of training, you want to make the training hands-on if you can. And a lot of times when we do training with the clients, we actually record the training. I'm not talking about recording the entire training. We actually record a reader's digest of that training, meaning we'll just record like 4 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever it is. It's a shorter version of the training, because if you record the whole training and if it was an hour, if it was 45 minutes, a lot of people may not sit through a 45-minute recording. But if you give them, a 5-minute, a 6-minute, it's easier to digest. They'll see it, they get it, and then they can start using it. And there's a support there's a support point of contact they can reach out to if they have any questions. So that's that. So we're in our third polling questions. So you take a quick second to answer that.
Do you think you need an ERP system health check? Yes or no? We'll move on to the next slide while you respond to that. So again, with continued support, Boleyn went into the whole support, our theory on support, and here's just continued support, right? So monitor organizational requirements. As your organization continues to change and it continues to grow, you want to monitor the requirements and needs, right? So for example, you might need to manage spending more closely. Are there solutions to help you manage spending more closely? Again, right, you want to make sure that your system can support this growth, right? Your trajectory, your growth. Monitor new challenges, identify if there are any new challenges and requirements changed, right? This is ongoing. Keep up with technical changes. The publishers of the ERP solutions roll out new features frequently in comparison to accounting pronouncements. So while I know we get very busy with the day-to-day operation, you want to keep up with these new features. Something that, again, I felt that has been helpful is, again, getting this core group of users, right? You get a core group of users that know the system, that are excited about the system, know the system. And if you have this core group, at least to keep up with the technical changes, it'll help. Your vendor should always be there to support. We're always here to support our clients. But if you need internal support, that's a recommendation, is to have your core group of users that keep up with these changes, with the new features, new releases, that they can then train your other users. Review how technology or changes in process can address your need. When clients ask me to address their needs, I'll look to see if there's a solution that addresses their needs. So we normally look at the client's current ERP system before we consider a third party, right? We believe in, if it's not broken, don't fix it. We want to leverage what you currently have, and we want to then figure out if something else is needed that maybe is not addressed in the current ERP. Health check is a recurring process, right? This never ends. It's maximizing your ERP should be an ongoing review, because you need your needs change and technology changes. So constantly checking your system, your processes.
So this is a really just a quick recap. It goes back to a little bit of what Vivian talked about, and that is, you wanted to have a regular maintenance in terms of their system. It is hard because, everyone's busy, we have a day job, but technology is one of those things that change very quickly. There's constant change. It's interesting. Because accounting is actually pretty conservative, in my opinion. The regulation, there's not a whole lot of changes in regulations. And when there are changes in the regulations that, AICPA puts out, right, it takes years for that to put in place. Whereas technology, just take your cell phone, for example, right? When I get the latest cell phone in about 6 months, there's a new release of a different of new functionality in that cell phone. The one that I bought 6 months ago is old. So the same goes with ERP solutions, right? So depending on the solutions you're running, they may have different releases. So if you were on Sage Intacct, they have feature releases on a quarterly basis. And so you want to try to keep up with that. And realistically, a lot of organizations can't, keep up with all that changes. And this is why you wanted to just, within a year or two, you want to do this in a cycle, but really to step back and do some sort of a maintenance with your processes, and with your, looking at your processes and your system, and measure the results, meaning identify what your needs are, measure what are the challenges, what you're looking for in terms of outcome. You wanted to make sure you have well-defined processes. technology is only good as long as you have good process. They have to go hand in hand. And then make sure you have ongoing training. Even if you're not going through this whole process, I think getting some level of training in terms of what's new in your ERP is important. It would benefit you.
Talking about the return on investment of an ERP, talking about the soft ROI versus the hard ROI. And we're talking about the intangible and soft ROI, the intangible gains. They can also result in hard ROI, right? What are some of the intangible gains? Employee retention, customer satisfaction. Why do we want to max our ERP? And it's more than just hard dollars, right? So the analysis goes into quantifying the the ROI of an ERP to help business evaluate and anticipate the impact of an ERP. Talking about the hard ROI, this refers to the traditional returns, increase in revenue, decreases in costs, those measurable, quantifiable, right? Where the soft ROI is more, again, the soft customer satisfaction, your customers don't necessarily have to be external customers. Remember, some of us in accounting departments, we have internal customers that are our board. It could be the people that we report to, financial reports, who gets the information that we're trying to produce out of these financial systems. Polling question number 4. Would you like to learn more from this presentation? Yes, no? And with that, we come up to our Q&A. We'll leave the polling question up.
All right, we have some questions here. So question, can you address options for creating a SaaS business in the accounting space? I'm not quite sure I fully understand the questions, but there are a number of SaaS solutions out there. Maybe what we can do is loop back with you and provide, just to make sure we understand your questions and be able to answer it properly. We have another question, Deltek's and ERP, I'm hearing about from constructions and other companies. Deltek is actually it's been around for a long time. And it's very popular in GovCon space, government contractor space. And they have a couple of solutions there. But I'm not sure if we answer your question, but again, we'll loop back with you to make sure we address your questions. So that was just a cursory response, but we'll definitely loop back with you on that. Nancy, the second polling question, did we share the results? I don't know if we did or didn't.
We didn't, but let me see if I could share them. Yeah. Should see it on their screen now.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So we have about 50% of our attendees saying somewhat they're maximizing their ERP solution, and then we have 11%. Hooray for those 11%! They're maximizing your solutions, right? And then we have the few here, 22 and 17 on not at all. Maybe we can help you. Well, we can try to help you to maximize your systems, and then the 17% not so sure. So those are really very informative results and very interesting. So in any way, we are actually close to finishing our presentation. I think we have one more slide after this, right, Vivian? What's the next slide?
The upcoming events, if you want to talk about the...
Yeah, let's bring that up. And so if, we as Marcum Technology and Marcum, we have a, Marcum University where we provide a number of educational webinars, and we have 2 that are coming up. Is your accounts payable automation solution secured? That's on April 26th. So in this session, we are going to focus a little bit more on the security side of AP automation. So a lot of organizations have put in, really focuses on workflow. We want to make sure that your AP solution is secure. There are different security that's associated with it depending on the platform, but we're going to be talking about Sage Intacct and Bill.com for this presentation. And then on the May 31st, we are Sage Intacct partners. So we have a Sage Intacct 2023 that was meant to, where that was a mistake, that was a typo. It's just say Sage Intacct 2023 R2 release. So Sage released their new functionality on a quarterly basis. We'll go through some of the new functionality with the R2 release. If you go to this website, you can register for the presentation, the webinar. So I wanted to first thank all of you for attending this webinar. I hope you got something out of it. And we hope to see you in the future. Thank you so much, everyone.
Belinda, just to make one more note, on that last polling question, the one that you just put up, there were some people that put up maximizing their ERP. Some said somewhat and others said not sure. Something that you could reach out to your vendors, reach out to us, and it's something that we could help you evaluate your processes, right? It's what we do. We help you evaluate your processes, see how can the ERP help you? Are there functionality? Is there functionality? Are there modules that can help you? So to those of you that said somewhat and not sure, just reach out to see where do you need help? How could we help?
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, everyone,
Thank
for
you.
attending. You have a great rest of the day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.